ano yung meron. So, we will going to connect Microsoft Word with other application software. My sample template, okay, so I have here template. So we call it letter template. So the first procedure is to open your Microsoft Word using your letter template. So what is the reason why we call it letter template? For a simple reason that upon looking at the template or the letter template, it do not comply with the correct recipient of the letter. Ang nakalagay lang, name, surname, address, course year, as well as the content of the letter. So most likely, ito lang yung isang information o data na makikita nyo. So Miss Ed's Layaw, the faculty. So that is the first one. You have to write a letter template. So after identifying your letter template, by the way, I will be creating my folder. No? So kasi folder din naman yung isasubmit ko sa akin. Cognate 1-Applido, Dayaw. Okay, so the first thing you must do with the letter template, always remember that a letter template must not comprise of a red underline, green underline, or a blue underline. Or else, I will be deducting 2 points for every red underline, blue underline, and green underline. Okay, in the event wherein your letter template comprises of any of the, by the way, as we all know, red underline means wrong spelling, green underline means wrong grammar, and blue underline means wrong space or spaces. So in the event wherein you come up with any of the underline that I am talking about, all you have to do is to go on the review, then spelling and grammar, then ignore nyo na lang kung kailangan i-ignore o kaya kung kailangan i-change, i-change nyo na lang. So in my case, I will be clicking ignore. So ignore. Okay, then close ko na to. So probably I do have now my correct letter template. So that is the first thing we must identify with the letter template. A letter template must not comprise of a red underline, blue underline, or green underline. Okay, afterwards, a letter template must be in a single space, especially for the letter header. So para sa single space, so by the way, I am using Microsoft Office 2016. So kasi iba ang pag-single out sa ibang version. Kung 2016 ang gamit mo, all you have to do is to highlight the letter header, then go on the layout, then yung after, gawin mo lang siyang 0, automatic single space na siya. Okay, so same through with sa huling part, so single space na siya. So I do have now my letter template. So you can now save your letter template. So file, save as, browse. So ang cognate 1, so we call it 1-letter template. So same file name lang din ang gamitin natin sa letter template. Anyway, sa activity pala namin nakalagay ko ano yung kailangan na file name. So I have to save my letter template. In the event wherein I come up with an error along the way, especially in the connection of software to software, I can still use my letter template. Okay, so after I do have my letter template, and my letter template comprises with the correct definition of a letter template. I will now proceed with the second procedure. So what is the second procedure? So the second procedure is to open another software to connect my letter template. So I will be using mailings. So I will be using select recipient, then type new list. Okay, so the first thing you must do is to identify the new address list. Upon clicking on the new address list, we do have different field names. So we call it field names, by the way. So the reason why we call it field names, it is the identity of the field that we wanted to identify later on. So upon clicking the customized column, there are 13 field names. But if you will going to look at our letter template, we do have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 field names. So in other words, we have to personalize our address list all we have to do is to delete unnecessary field name. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 na po siya. So, let us try to correct the field name based on the letter template. So, in other words, ang pangalan ng title natin, pinangalanan natin as name. By the way, hindi siya case sensitive. Okay lang if you wanted the small letter, the is capital letter. Okay, so again, if we will going to count the total number of field names on our letter template, we do have 5. The name, the surname, the address, the course, and the year. Then click OK. So in other words, upon clicking OK, we can now type our record. So in the purpose of my demonstration, so most likely magta-type lang ako kahit mga 4 lang muna. Okay, in the purpose of my demonstration, ang ginamit ko lang ay 4 na records. So click ako ng OK. So in other words, we have to save our database. So punta tayo sa folder na ginawa natin kanina. So I will be naming my folder as my file or my database file as 2-db. So DB stands for database. So actually that's the second software that we are using, the database. Okay, afterwards, since we do have our database and we do have our letter template, the second to the last procedure is to connect the Microsoft Word to our software or to our database. So what to do? So I will be clicking the name, then on the mailings, insert merge field. By clicking the wizard, ito yung lahat ng field name na ginawa natin. So i-replace ko lang siya based on the existing insert merge field. So if you will notice, we do have the name connection, surname connection. So ang symbol ng connection dito sa database natin, we call it yung greater than less than symbols after ng field name niya. So same to with the address. So I will be using the address. So course. Okay, then year. Okay, so if we do have now our letter template together with the connection, we can now save it as our. So the last procedure is, our objective is to connect our database with our letter template. All we have to do is to click on the mailings, then go on the finish and merge, then edit individual, then click OK. Okay, automatically I do have now the connection, where in this time I do have Anthony Lopez Plaridel BSID2 for the first page. For the second page, I do have for Tan Winnie, and I do have Uy, and the last one, I do have my kay Gina Lin Ang. So kung meron tayong nakita na against the identity of template, all we have to do is to use on our review, then spelling and grammar, ignore na lang tayo. Hanggang sa totally mawala ang red underline, blue underline, green underline with our letter as well as our mail merge. So basically, we call it mail merge. So what is the reason why we call it mail merge? For a simple reason that we connected our letter template into our database. So file save as ko na siya. File save as. Then, so I do have now 4-mail merge. Okay, so close ko to. Since we do have the letter template and we do have the mail merge, let us go now with creating envelope for our mailings. So we have 2. mailings again. Then I'm using start mail merge. So this time I will be clicking on the envelopes. Okay, so click ko lang okay. Ito yung standard envelope size. So click ko na lang yung okay. So if you will notice, the size of my template is for envelope. So liitan ko bahagya. So ito siya, for envelope size siya. In other words, kung magpiprint ka, envelope size na yung kailangan mong i-print o yung envelope na mismo ang kailangan mong ilagay sa printer mo. Okay, so I do have my, of course, the sender's name. So Miss Eds Dayaw, faculty, LCUP. Okay, so all you have to do is to drag your mouse. You do have your address template, or we call it the placeholder. So all you have to do is to put your recipient information on your placeholder. Pero this time, we don't need to type anything, but instead we have to connect everything. So all we have to do is to go on the mailings, then select recipient, then type new list. This time, we don't need to type a list, but instead we have to connect a list. So use an existing list. I will be using my select recipient, use existing list. So go on the folder ng cognate 2-db. Okay, so I will be using name. Okay, so see to it that there will be spaces in between field name connection, surname. So enter tayo para sa address. Enter tayo para sa okay. Then next in line, we do have the course and we do have the year. Okay, so going back with the last part, finish and merge. Then edit individual, click OK. So in other words, we do have now the envelope for Anthony, the envelope for Winnie, the envelope for Teddy, and the envelope for Ginaline. So pwede natin i-save file, save as. So we do have 5- envelope. Okay, so in other words, ito mismo yung ipapasa nyo sa akin sa unang activity natin. So all you have to do is to make your folder a RAR. Gawin natin siyang RAR para nakakompress na, add to RAR. So ito na rin siya, cognate. So ito na mismo yung buong folder na ipapasa sa Google Classwork. Question for our activity number 1 for cognate. So, by the way, bakit ko sinabi na I am connecting to different software? Actually, kasi pag binuksan ko to, we call it my Microsoft Access. Pag binuksan ko yung Microsoft Access ko, ito yung ginamit natin na connection. So, automatic, it is connected to the database. And Microsoft Access is a software for creating and storing information that is better known as a database. So, ito siya. Ito yung ginawa natin kanina. Okay. So, ito yung tinype natin. So, in other words, parehas na meron tayo. The Microsoft Access as database and the Microsoft Word as editing text. Pinag-connect lang natin. Automatic, we call it the mail merge. And we do have, we are hitting a software to software connection. Question?